welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Luz Marie and I'm currently in a debt-free journey to pay off 6 figures of debt. This is a combination of consumer as well as student loan debt. So far we have paid over $18,000 in 4 months and we're hoping to make another large payment at the end of May. So we're doing great progress. But in today's video, I actually wanted to share a new term that I recently came across. Literally summed up everything that we went through and the reason why we're struggling living paycheck to paycheck because of this. And I wanted to share my story in order for you to avoid these mistakes and not fall into the trap. You're wondering, what am I talking about? So have you heard of the term lifestyle creep? So lifestyle creep is when you end up making more money and then you end up spending more money. And then the end result is that you just start living paycheck to paycheck because the more money you make, you're just in a cycle. A few years ago, my husband and I, we were living in New York and I had an entry-level job. So it wasn't really paying too much. And my husband, you know, he had a few years in his career, but it wasn't also paying. During the time when we were living in New York, we were making pretty much like a low income and we had a financial goal of wanting to purchase a condo in the city. So in order to do so, to save enough money, we ended up minimizing our expenses. So we moved back into my parents' place in order for us to save some extra cash in a low income. So we did the whole thing. We budgeted, we eliminated expenses, we lived as frugal as possible. We did everything. We put money aside and our goal was to save. So that was our primary financial goal. So we ended up saving over $20,000 in less than 2 years. Keep in mind that during that time, we were freshly newlyweds. You know, have that moment of living on your own and just being together. But we made that sacrifice. We had a goal and our goal was to invest in a condo. However, things changed and we grew out of wanting to stay in New York. We wanted to explore our option. We wanted to experience a different life. We were just over New York. So we decided to move across country to California and we lived in San Francisco, California. When we moved over there, we ended up moving jobs, and while moving jobs, if you don't know, California actually pay way more money in salaries. As we were in California, we ended up more than double our salaries. Like we were making, especially in the different industry, it's a tech industry, so they tend to pay more. So what one salary over there, it didn't even add up to what we were making, both of us making here. Well, here in New York. When we first arrived to California, we still had that frugal mentality, the minimal mentality, but as you know, as things change over there and we ended up receiving more bonuses, I ended up leaving another company to go to another company. We just ended up making more money. My husband ended up having a promotion and that was more of a salary increase, and the same with me. So as time went on, we just forgot about our financial goal, which was to invest in property. We ended up taking vacation, going out more, happy hours, eating out. Our wardrobe ended up changing. We ended up buying new things. We ended up upgrading our apartment. So we definitely changed our lifestyle as our salary increased. As our salary was increasing, we were just living paycheck to paycheck because we weren't really savings. We didn't have a budget. We didn't have an emergency fund. We didn't have a sinking funds for special stuff like vacation. We were just living and we weren't really thinking of our financial goal. So when we had an unexpected event like a job loss or a family emergency, we pretty much weren't prepared for those things because although we were not dipping into credit, we were still living paycheck to paycheck and not having any money in savings. So when we had a first job loss, it was hard to recuperate to the next emergency and the next emergency. And it was just like a domino effect. It just put us deeper into an uncomfortable situation, and that's where we're at now. So I wanted to share a few things that we would have done differently and avoid it being in the predicament that we are in right now. So the first thing that I want to say is, of course, you're going to want to reward yourself. You know, you just got a raise, you just got a promotion, you just got more money, a larger commission or a bonus, whatever it is, whatever that extra money, reward yourself, slightly reward yourself, but don't blow that entire money and just spend it all. Don't give yourself that instant gratification. Just reward yourself, give yourself that positive reinforcement that as you work hard, you got rewarded, and just move on from that. For us, we were constantly rewarding ourselves. We were taking random vacations. We were taking random trips. We weren't really waiting a longer period to reward ourselves. Another thing that I want to add, do not upgrade. Just because you're making more money and you're comfortable in where you're in right now, in your space, or you have a car that is still functioning, don't try to upgrade those situations, because you're just going to end up spending more money and not really preparing what if you lose your job or your spouse loses his job. Then you have these larger expenses that you can't keep up with. So do not upgrade at the moment. First, save different funds in order for you to have backup money if situations like that were to happen. That's something that I wish that we would have done differently. I would have not moved out to a bigger space apartment. We're living in a studio, and then we ended up moving into a larger space, just way more money to manage if one of us lost our job. Another thing that I would have done differently is that continue on in our financial goal. Our financial goal was to save a certain amount of money and to be able to invest either a single unit home or a multi-unit home. That was our end goal, but during that time we just lost track and we forgot about our financial goal, and we ended up spending the money that we had. Let's go back to your financial goal. Have a financial goal. What is it that you want to do at the moment? Whether it is save money in order for you to quit your 9-to-5 job, or save enough money for a down payment of a house, or save enough money for a family vacation. Whatever it is, stay on track, set your financial goal, and stay on track. Do not lose track of your financial goal. Although you're making more money, don't forget to still keep a budget. It doesn't have to be a restricted budget, a zero-based budget. I know that sometimes those can be a bit overwhelming and you feel restricted in them, but just keep a basic budget. Gather all your expenses, subtract that from your income, and then that's it. But like that, you're able to keep track of your spending habit and see where you're spending most of your money, whether it's beauty treatments or whether it's that you're eating out way too much. You become conscious of your spending and you start to call yourself out in those. So now that you're making more money, put that extra money away into something, into a fund, whether it's maxing out your retirement fund. I would highly recommend having your savings automatically pulled out. So if you got a raise, pretend that you didn't even get that raise. Just have it automatically pulled out. This will help you avoid the temptation of spending that extra cash that you have. So another thing that I would have done differently is that since I had more money coming in, what I should have done is do double payments on my student loans, finish off paying off my student loans. But no, I just kept on doing minimum payments and pretty much not keeping to my financial goal plans, and now I'm still paying for that. So if you're making more money and you have pending debt, definitely do those double payments. Pay off that debt first and move on into savings, and definitely pay off that debt. Don't wait for it, because you never know if something happens. You never know that if you lose your job or you end up getting some unexpected expense, and this will definitely set you back. If you're making extra cash right now, definitely put it directly into debt if you have any debt right now. So for us, I mentioned that we totally forgot about our financial goal. We totally didn't have a financial plan. Write out what is your financial plan, whether it's saving, investing, or paying off debt. Definitely write out the steps that you need in order to achieve your goal. I think for us, we didn't end up buying more stuff, but we ended up wanting to experience more things. And I think this was because I was born and raised in New York. I didn't go to school out of state. I didn't really experience, I would say, that living on your own. So I feel like because this was our first time being a newlyweds and away from home, we kind of lost track of things. And also having that childhood money mindset, having access and resources to more money, we definitely lost track. We definitely looked at the short-term gratification and ended up losing our long-term goal. So that's something that I would do differently, especially back then as a young professional. You're starting off with a lower income, and as you grow, you're getting more money, but the more money you get, it's like the more problem, and it's because you're not conscious of your spendings and you're losing track of your goals and not having a plan. If you experience lifestyle creep, don't worry, it happens to most of us. It literally creeps up on you, but it's never too late to step back from that and move forward. For us, it happened to us and we were hit. We had a rude awakening, but I would say I'm glad that we experienced that, and now that we're conscious and we know what we want, and I don't regret of experiencing the stuff that we did. We definitely had a good time, but I wish that we would have done things differently, like sticking with a budget. If we wanted to go on vacation, saving up for that, having an emergency fund, setting out sinking funds for vacations, for wanting to buy laptops or whatever it was at the moment. But I wish we would have stuck with a plan and been smarter with our decisions, because we would have been in a much better place now. But you live and you learn and you move on from that. So I hope that you avoid these mistakes that we have done, so that you won't be in that rude awakening and that uncomfortable situation like us. I hope you enjoy this video. If you want to continue on following my debt-free journey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below.